hot off the presses. According to league insiders, Dewanna Bonner has no interest in returning to the Indiana Fever.
Natasha Howard just dropped some serious fire on Instagram after Dana Bonner straight up walked out on the Indiana Fever mid-season. The shade was so loud, even blind folks could have seen it coming. Howard's message couldn't be clearer, she's calling out those who quit and making it known she's staying put. This drama is spiraling fast. Do you think Natasha Howard was justified in publicly calling out Dana Bonner like that?
Yeah, it is what it is. It is what it is. Just a pity. It is just a pity. All around. Like, they got rid of Temmie for the master plan, and Temmie would have been perfect. Temmie would have been absolutely perfect to have had. And it's a pity. It is just a pity it did not work out, because the Fever, unless they get Emma, punt on the season. Like, they're...
All right, folks. We seriously need to talk about what just happened between Natasha Howard and Dana Bonner, because this is some next-level professional drama that's got the whole WNBA buzzing. Dana Bonner just walked out on the Indiana Fever mid-season, leaving her teammates in the dust, and Natasha Howard made it clear she wasn't about to stay silent on it.
Was the Atlanta Dream game. I actually got to attend that game, and we have not seen her since. It's been said that she was out for personal reasons. People didn't know if this was a family issue, a health problem, a possible retirement. Looks like none of that. Looks like the fit just was off from the beginning. We're going to look at the story in just a second, but that's first my thoughts on it. I think this sucks, obviously, because she was going to be counted on to be.
So here's how it went down. Dana Bonner, who was supposed to be the seasoned vet, the championship caliber leader, meant to help guide Caitlin Clark and this young Fever squad to greatness, just decided she was out. No injury, no trade, no release, she just bounced. Walked away from her team, her contract, the whole thing apparently because things weren't going the way she wanted. Meanwhile, Natasha Howard, who's been grinding all season, even if she hasn't exactly been the perfect fit people expected, saw what Bonner did and chose not to stay quiet. Howard posted on her Instagram story with lyrics from a track called We Not Done. And if you think that was just a coincidence, you probably still believe in the Tooth Fairy.
Obviously, after the whole Dewanna Bonner situation, immediately posting song lyrics to a song called We Not Done. We Not Done. Yeah, We Not Done. She's out going posting We Not Done. And I don't know, again, I'm not going to say there's a shot at Dewanna Bonner, because at the end of the day, there is a non-zero chance that she sat down all the team, apologized to the team, said it wasn't working out, and while they'll be pissed, maybe.
But it gets even juicier. Howard unfollowed Bonner on social media, then followed her back, which just adds another layer to the chaos. When pro athletes start playing follow-and-follow games online, you know the drama's officially off the rails. What really makes this whole thing obvious is the timing of Howard's post. Just 54 minutes after the news broke about Bonner walking away, Howard drops We Not Done lyrics. That's not some random motivational post. That's a direct shot at someone who bailed on the squad. She's making it loud and clear. She's not quitting, and she's not about to let anyone slide for doing so. Howard also shared something saying she's not giving up on the team and plans to let her game do the talking. Again, the timing isn't exactly subtle. When your teammate dips out on the franchise and you immediately post about sticking around, it's crystal clear who you're aiming at.
So that said, Dewanna Bonner listed Phoenix as one of her preferred destinations.
What makes this whole situation even more ridiculous is that Bonner was supposed to be the veteran anchor, the calm, experienced presence who'd help this young team handle the pressure of the spotlight. Instead, she turned out to be the first. One to bail when things got rough. That's some leadership for you. The Fever brought Bonner in.
So Dewanna Bonner responded. She responded to leaving the Indiana Fever, and at least she didn't go out there and call out the Fever or anything. At least she didn't do that, I guess. But she has, in fact, spoken about leaving the Indiana Fever. And look, at the end of the day, she didn't want to be there. She didn't want to be there. And if you're
on a sizable deal, $200,000, because they believed she'd offer championship experience and stability to a team trying to build something real around Caitlin Clark. But after just 14 games, she couldn't figure out her role and decided to pack it up and leave, like a kid taking their ball and storming off the playground. Meanwhile, Natasha Howard, the player people doubted from the start, the one who caught flack for being a questionable signing, has stayed locked in ... chance to lead and still walked away the moment they...
You're either with us or you're against us, and clearly you're now against us. And she's going to walk to the Phoenix Mercury, play on a minimum deal, and yeah, it's going to be what it is. It is what it is. And Ari McDonald is going to be ready to play tomorrow against us.
Didn't go her way. Howard, despite not being the so-called perfect fit, has shown up every single night. She's been putting in the effort, trying to build chemistry with her teammates, and doing whatever the coaching staff asks. No, she's not flawless, but at least she's not a quitter. The difference between these two couldn't be clearer. Howard came to Indiana fully aware the system might not...
Kelsey Mitchell, and I love Kelsey Mitchell, and Kelsey Mitchell's a great player, and she seems to love playing with Caitlin Clark in the Indiana Fever, but just the chemistry on this team is not right. It's been poorly put together. There's no big picture vision. It's almost like if we weren't calling this As the WNBA Turns, a spoof off of the soap opera As the World Turns.
Played her strengths, knowing she'd have to adjust and sacrifice. And she's done it all without throwing a public tantrum or abandoning the squad. Bonner, meanwhile, walked in with high expectations, was handed a starting spot, got big minutes, and still couldn't hang when adversity hit. Someone being petty, that's someone making a statement. Bonner had every opportunity to succeed. She was given the role, the minutes, the platform. But when it didn't play out exactly how she envisioned, she just walked away. That's not veteran leadership, that's veteran selfishness. The fact that Natasha Howard felt the need to call it out publicly speaks volumes about how the locker room likely feels. When your own teammates are tossing shade at you on social media, it means you really crossed a line. Pro athletes usually keep this kind of stuff behind closed doors, but Howard clearly believed Bonner's move was so out of line, it needed to be addressed out in the open. And this wasn't a one and done post either. Howard made multiple posts, tweaked her follow status. She made sure the message was loud and clear.
Mrs. Sparks against her old team, who cut her. So it's going to be an interesting one. It's going to be a fun one watching her against the LA Sparks. Of all teams, it's going to be a very, very fun one watching against Sparks. But here is Dewanna Bonner's response. So, I want to sincerely thank the Indiana Fever for the opportunity to be part of the Fever franchise. Despite...
That's not drama for the sake of drama. That's holding someone accountable. That wasn't accidental. That was intentional messaging from someone clearly frustrated with a teammate's lack of commitment. And honestly, the Indiana Fever front office had to appreciate Howard's response. They're dealing with the embarrassment of a veteran player quitting mid-season, and then one of their other vets immediately steps up to show, loud and clear, that not everyone is going to jump ship when the waters get rough. Howard's "We not done" post wasn't just aimed at Bonner, it was also a message.
Despite our shared goals and excitement heading into the season, I felt the fit did not work out, and I appreciate the organization's willingness to grant my request to move on, particularly at this point in my career. Bonner said, I wish the Fever great success as they continue to build around this dynamic group of young players. Show up to work.
To the fans. Fever supporters have endured years of disappointment, and just when things were finally starting to turn around with Caitlin Clark and a promising young core, they're hit with this. A veteran quitting the team. Howard's message was basically, Don't lose faith in us just because one person did. And from a business standpoint, Bonner's move looks even worse. She signed a contract, took the paycheck, and when the situation didn't go her way, she bailed. That's not how this works. In professional sports, you don't get to pick and choose when you feel like honoring your commitment.
Show up. Like, by the way, if Dewanna Bonner had requested a trade, like if she requested a trade, this is my only issue with the situation. My issue is not Dewanna Bonner wanting out.
Being a professional doesn't mean only showing up when things go your way. Meanwhile, Howard has handled everything with professionalism, even though she's likely dealing with her own frustrations. Her stats aren't where they could be. The team isn't winning at the level they hoped, and the system isn't tailored to her strengths, but she's still showing up, still putting in the work, and still honoring her role. The social media angle just makes things worse for Bonner. In today's WNBA and NBA, every move is under the microscope. Every post is dissected. Every follow and unfollow gets attention. Howard made sure her stance was obvious. She didn't hide it. She didn't sugarcoat it. What's most damaging for Bonner is that none of this can be brushed off as accidental or overblown.
We might as well call this real world, because the Indiana Fever just put together a collection of different personalities without any forethought and thought into like, hey, how does this work with Caitlin Clark? We have this transcendent superstar that's moving the needle. She's a terrific basketball player. She's our engine. We're building this whole thing around her, but we're gonna bring in these older.
The message was loud, clear, and calculated. And it's a message that could follow her for a long time. This isn't the kind of thing that just fades. Away Howard's public call-out is going to follow Bonner wherever she goes next. Future teammates will remember that when things got rough in Indiana, she walked away. Future coaches are going to think twice, wondering if she'll bail on them too if the situation doesn't go exactly her way.
Stars who are, alternative lifestyle and a part of the alphabet mafia, and then we're going to pair them with Caitlin Clark, Sophie Cunningham, and Lexi Hull, and Aaliyah Boston I would throw in there. It's just a bad fit. This soap opera is a hot.
On the flip side, Howard is building the kind of reputation that matters in this league. She's proving she doesn't quit. She honors her commitments. She rides for her teammates even when the team's struggling. That kind of consistency, it keeps careers alive. It earns trust. It opens doors, and the timing of Bonner's exit just makes it even worse. This wasn't during the offseason, where the team could regroup or make moves. She left in the middle of the season, creating roster headaches and putting even more pressure on a team already trying to find its footing. Howard's posts likely weren't just about calling out Bonner. They were also a way of venting frustration over the ripple effects her exit caused. The Fever had to weigh Bonner and scramble to bring back Ari McDonald on a hardship contract just to have enough players suited up. That's not how any professional franchise wants to operate, and it definitely doesn't help with team chemistry or continuity. Howard's decision to speak up also says a lot about her character. It shows she cares not just about winning, but about the organization, her teammates, and the fans. She wasn't about to let Bonner's selfish exit paint the whole squad in a negative light. She wanted people to know some of us are still locked in. Some of us are still fighting. Howard's message wasn't just for
hot mess. And this hot mess is burning up Caitlin Clark. And so I want to go to the second aspect of this. And I'm going to be speculating just like I was speculating yesterday, just from watching this team and watching how they play and just following everything as closely as I can on the internet when I was like, hey man, the media's not.
Fans were Bonner, it was for everyone. She wanted it known that not everyone was giving up. Some players are still all in, still fighting to make this work. That "we not done" message, that was a statement to the rest of the league too. Other teams might look at the Fever's struggles and count them out, but Howard's saying don't be so quick. They still have fight. They're not letting one player's decision derail the entire mission. From a leadership perspective, this is exactly what someone like Caitlin Clark and the rest of that young core needs to witness. When one vet quits, it can shake the whole
I'm
lot.
not talking about, but there's a real problem here with Dewanna Bonner. She's quit the team. And then a few hours later, we find out, hey, she's quit the team. And the next day, today, we find out, hey, and the Fever are waiving Dewanna Bonner from
Locker room. But when another veteran immediately stands up and says, "We're not done fighting," that sends a completely different message. It builds trust. It sets a standard. The professionalism gap between the two is glaring. Bonner quietly disappeared, leaving her teammates in the middle of a tough stretch. Howard, on the other hand, stood her ground, made her voice heard, and reminded everyone what accountability looks like.
from the team. So I want to make a comparison, or I want to I want to make a comparison about what's going on here to a Morgan Wallen song and Morgan Wallen's
Publicly only adds to the weight of it. All this wasn't some behind-the-scenes issue that quietly blew over. It unfolded in real time, in front of fans, media, and the entire league. Bonner left without a word, forcing her teammates to handle the media storm and deal with all the speculation about what went down. Meanwhile, Howard faced the situation head-on. She made her stance known, stood by her team, and kept it moving. That's exactly how a veteran is supposed to handle adversity. Her
latest album, his 2025 album, which is called I'm the Problem. And I want you to imagine Caitlin Clark as Morgan Wallen. Caitlin Clark is the problem.
Social media moves weren't just emotional reactions they showed. Real awareness of the business side of the game. Howard knows that walking out on a team can stain a player's reputation and hurt future opportunities. She made it crystal clear, she's not that kind of player. She's loyal, she's reliable, and she's not going to fold when things get tough. The fact that this all played out publicly was probably exactly...
And I say that not that she's the problem, but if you know the Morgan Wallen song, if you've ever listened to the Morgan Wallen song, you'll know
what Howard intended. She could have kept it behind closed doors, stayed quiet, and let the team handle it internally. But she didn't. She chose to make a statement, loud and clear. That suggests she wanted players, coaches, and front office execs.
I'm going to read to you some of the lyrics. You say I'll never change. I'm just going to go around town with some gasoline, just trying to burn a flame, gonna burn the whole place down.
Across the league, to see the stark contrast between how she handled the situation and how Bonner did. And for Fever fans, Howard's response had to feel like a breath of fresh air. After the letdown of seeing Bonner walk away, watching another veteran step up and say, asterisk, I'm not quitting. I'm still here. Asterisk likely restored some hope. It was a reminder that there are still leaders in the locker room who are willing to fight through adversity, not run from it. The ripple effects of this situation won't just fade when the season ends. This will stick. Howard has now solidified her reputation as someone who doesn't fold under pressure, someone who stays committed when things get hard. That kind of mentality is gold in free agency, in trade talks, and in any future basketball scenario. Teams value players who bring toughness, accountability, and
Man, I'm the flame. Dewanna Bonner, you're gonna burn this whole place down. How do you explain
leadership? And Howard just proved she brings all three. Bonner, on the other hand, may have unintentionally branded herself as a risk. Someone who might walk away if the situation isn't ideal. That's not a good look in a league where team culture and locker room chemistry are everything. Howard's decision to publicly call out what she saw as unprofessional behavior also revealed leadership qualities that maybe weren't front and center before. She saw something that could damage the culture of the team, and instead of brushing it off, she addressed it head on. That takes guts, and it shows she cares about more than just her own role. She's invested in the team, the culture, and the future. The message Howard sent is going to echo throughout the entire organization. Young players are always watching how vets deal with pressure and setbacks, and Howard just gave them a textbook example of what leadership looks like. When things get tough, you don't quit. You don't walk out on your teammates. You dig in and keep fighting. In a strange way, this whole situation might end up being a turning point for the Fever. Bonner's departure, as disruptive as it was, probably brought the remaining players closer together. There's nothing like shared adversity to tighten a locker room, and this definitely counts. Howard stepping up in this moment could end up having long-term value beyond just this season. Her leadership is setting the tone, helping to build trust, and reinforcing a culture of accountability. That kind of presence pays off in team chemistry, resilience, and, eventually, results.